episode 21 Fantasy and Football podcasts.
That's right. Podcasts, plural.
Podcasts, plural. We've got another one coming soon. Just kidding, we don't.
No.
Episode 21, still talking about strength of the few. I'll hold my book up since
there you go.
His. So this is the last part.
Yeah, we finished the book.
We finished the book. There's an idea
Crazy
for you. I'll hold it next to my head for reference, and I've got a big head.
He has a large head.
So we made it to the end.
Yes, we did.
Now, before we get into it, we already know that the third book, The Justice of One,
yes,
is the official title. So that's slated to come out, I would imagine, the end of next year, probably, or maybe the summer, sometime like that.
Yeah.
I think he finished the because I was texting you about it. I think he finished the first draft.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
I can't wait.
Looking forward to that. And then it's supposed to be a 4-book series. Do you know anything about that?
I believe so. Yeah. I believe that's right. I feel like it was originally going to be a trilogy, but then, like most of these epic fantasies, they're like, actually, I need more time, more space.
More space, yeah. Especially with it being so well received.
Yeah.
So what do you think the fourth one will be called?
I thought about this. Here's what I think. I think whatever it is, it's going to be something of the Nun.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Something of the Nun. I thought maybe it would just come back to be the Will of the Many again. I don't know. Who knows? That sounds better.
The
of the Nun.
Second Will, yeah.
Will of the Many, Strength of the Few, Justice of One.
Legacy of None or something.
Legacy of None. Okay. All right.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here. You definitely heard it here first. We should send this to the author and see if
yeah, we'll get him on the pod. We'll
get him on the pod. That's right. Yeah. And be like, all right, any working titles? And then we'll just pitch him titles for the last one. The whole
time. An hour.
Yeah.
No questions about the book.
Yeah, no questions.
What about
just pitching titles? What do you think about this? He talks. We're like, wait, no, shut up. What about this one?
This is our show. This is our show.
Yeah. We get to the end and it's just like, all right, we're out of time.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right. Well, let me see. Wait, we normally talk about football. Any football?
No.
Not really. Draft this month. So that's fun.
Yeah, it's getting closer. Yeah.
Getting closer. I don't think truly anything new or noteworthy has come up. No.
Not that I can recall.
No.
This is like the official part of the year where all these trades have been done, people have been signed. You just have this dead handful of weeks before the draft. Mm-hmm. And then it all starts over.
Involuntary, optional practices and things like that have started, but
True.
Nothing crazy. Well, just like that.
We're on the fantasy part of the show.
To the fantasy part of the show.
So normally we've been doing this by going through the 3 different worlds: Lucium, Res, and Obitium. And we're going to do that again today. I actually took notes for most of Lucium and about half of Obitium and none for Res. So I can start us off with Lucium.
Yeah, let's do it.
So when we last finished reading, Biz and Lear were going to travel to Fornax because he decided, they basically were like, you have to go with him, then you come join us in the fight after. Mm-hmm. So they're on their way to Fornax, where he's going to meet the Druid Council. Along the way, they stop at a cabin that they stopped at the cabin that Biz had been hiding with a family from when he first showed up in that world. And he sees that it's in ruins, and there's a little grave. And that makes you think that likely one of the 2 children or the grandpa were killed. That night, Biz feels the pulse in his head, and follows it while Lear is sleeping. And huge plot twist, turns out it's Biz's father who is waiting there. We learn that, so you're like, oh my god, his father's alive. And then immediately, I think I literally texted you, that the chapter ends with, it's my father. I was like, bro,
Yeah,
his father's
yeah,
alive. And then the next sentence is, my father is dead. And I was like, what?
yeah,
So
yeah.
we find out that he is an Ayunzai, and that
Mhm.
he was awoken many times by military on res and asked about what he knew. We get a lot of info dumping from him, which is kind of nice. Then we find out he was woken up one last time by Ostius, who we met is the guy on res who can teleport. He
Mhm.
teleported him here to Lucium to watch over this version of Viz to make sure he stays alive because he has to because he's synchronous. So then his dad mentions that he said goodbye to the res version of Viz before leaving, and that he knows pretty much everything Viz does, maybe even a little bit more. Tells him that the Aurora Columnae is the key piece to the Cataclysms. Confirm that the weapon is what they used, the Mutalis, what they used at the Pneumachia. He had found out about it. He warns Viz that he shouldn't go join that war, that he's going to plan to go back to after Fornax because Ruark is the man that's hunting him. Viz basically tells him that he's going to do it because it's his own choice. Oh yeah, so I was like, what is this? He shows up to Fornax, and there's this thing called this word Lapidus Animarium is carved in Vetusian on the mile markers as they walk. Um, to make it to the Fornax, there's a lot more Vetusian, the ancient language that was in the ruins and the labyrinth and res. There's this big lake. They step into it, Lear and Fizz.
This.
By the way, his dad just kind of like hangs off close enough to where he can feel the pulse, but not there. And Lear like does some magic thing, druid stuff, activates a trigger, and this city emerges up from the water. And he tells Viz that he has to go to the center building, do a challenge basically that's different for everyone, and then go to the other side. So he starts walking through the city. Lear goes and waits for him on the side. There's like thousands of obsidian humanoid statues that are imbued and have the symbol of the hierarchy where their faces should be. When he gets to the center building, there is this Vetusian etched into it that says, for the safety of Lucian. And then a woman voice whispers inside to him, but he can't see her. He just hears it in his head. So he goes inside. There's two statues that are silver, humanoid. They don't pulse with will. He finds the Aurora Columnae, like a separate one on this world, within like a foot of water, and there's all these like weapons in the water. And he goes up to it, and he goes to touch it, and as soon as he touches it, that same woman screams in his voice, synchronous, and the two silver statues snap to life and start trying to kill him. So he's like fighting them off with these imbued weapons. He doesn't know what he's going to do. Every single time he picks one up, the woman screams unworthy in his head. And he's panicking. He's fighting forever. He knows he's going to eventually lose because these things don't get tired no matter how much he like dents them. And then by like instinct, he basically learns how to adopt. And he infuses his own will or steals the will from these, makes it his own, takes it over, and basically tells one of them to protect me, and it kills the other one. Then the statue rips off the silver arm of one of the others and gives it to Viz as proof of the trial that he succeeded. And then he tells this thing to like get him to the other side of the city safely. And at first, like when he takes a step out of that building, those
Yeah.
thousands of obsidian start sprinting at him. But then he takes a step back in, they stop. But when he's with the silver guy, they don't attack him. They just like walk right like this far from him, and they just all walk to the other side. Lear's waiting for him and is deeply disturbed by what he sees. But then Gal Kabar shows up and basically boom bops Lear. Well, he takes them both into custody and says he's going to bring Viz to King Fiarkra, who is going to give Viz to Ruark. And for doing this, Gal Kabar will become Fiarka's champion. Then Gal Kabar kills Lear, chops his head off, takes Viz to the CR Eris, which is like the castle of
Mhm.
King Ronan that they're sieging. So there's like a war going on.
And
King
that's where he
Turkey's
was
army.
supposed to go
Yes.
originally to then fight with everyone, but for King Ronan. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this is where my notes stopped, but I remember pretty well what happened. They get
Yeah.
there, and
Hmm.
Galkabar basically tries to like coax the king to come out, but instead of him, is it Tara? Yeah. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Tara? Tara is like, I'll fight you in place of my dad. So then she comes out and fights Galkabar and loses, but not fatally. She's like about to lose fatally. And Viz like steps in because he like recon actually I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. He like does the whole thing where he like reconnects to it, right?
So
Oh no, I
for
remember now.
no,
Yeah,
she comes to set him free. She sneaks into
yeah,
camp to set him
that's right.
free, and then they get caught,
Yes.
and
And
then
she like challenges him
she
to the
challenges
duel.
him, yeah, to the duel.
And
Hmm.
she does pretty well, but he beats her. And then
Hmm.
right before he's gonna kill her, King Ronan's like, "Stop! I'll come out there." So King Ronan comes out and says,
And
"Like,
like you do a swap.
yeah, they do a
Yeah.
little swap." So he takes it in there, and then everyone expects him to like treat him as a king and take him to King Fiarca, but he boom chops his head off. Everyone's like,
Hmm.
"Oh my god!" And then he like stabs Vis like
In
fatally
the stomach. Yeah.
in the stomach, and then drags. He like ties the silver arm that he had taken as a token to Viz's stump and throws him in the lake. So he's gonna drown. But then when he like gets to the bottom of the lake and his dad is there waiting for him.
Mhm.
God, this part's so sad. But
So yeah.
he knew this was gonna happen basically. So his dad was waiting for him. He's an Einstein. He has those like scarabs, the Vaterium, and
The
he
Vetarian. Yeah.
takes it off of himself and puts it on Viz, so Viz can live. But in doing that, he officially like dies again, but he can't
Hmm.
be revived. So they have this really touching moment where he like can't say anything, but he watches his dad basically like sacrifice himself. But in
Hmm.
doing that, Viz like again learns on instinct another form of adoption. And can you hear that?
Yeah. What is it?
It's their laundry.
Okay.
And he like makes the silver arm his own, comes up out of the water,
Yeah.
basically like healed, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" As it is
Yeah.
written, Lisan Al Gaib.
Yeah. Lizan Al
And
Gaib, literally.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
then like
Yeah.
literally like they all like just like oh, and then he kills Gal Kabar, and then everyone gives up and they surrender, and he's basically like their god.
Yep.
And he goes into the city, passes out. He wakes up, and they're like, "Hey," and it makes sense, but based on what happens in Obitium, but they're like, "Hey, Ruark just gave himself up all of a sudden." The man
Yeah.
who's hunting him, who the whole time we think he's going to be Ka.
Yep.
And he shows up, he goes to talk to him, and they're talking, and he's like, another version of you just made a massive mistake. He like
Hmm.
killed the only synchronous person, so now you're the only one. And it really was like, wait a minute, maybe we don't understand this because he's like, now you have to be synchronous and you have to be the one to like keep the cataclysms going because of reasons we don't know yet. And then he says,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, my name is Seor." You
Or
find out
like
that
they
it's
used to call me, yeah,
yeah,
Seor.
and you're
Yeah,
like,
dude.
"What?" Major
Yeah.
plot
So
twist.
I did not see that one coming.
Me neither. And
And
that's
he did
how it
such a good
is.
job like throwing you off the trail because there was someone
Yes.
that like wanted to meet him, which I still think the very beginning when Vis gets to Lucium, I think the
Yeah.
person that he was supposed to go see was his dad still.
Yes. I think it
But
was. I'm pretty sure they say it too.
yeah, so then the whole time, like we were talking, it's like you're waiting for him to eventually finally meet this person that was going to see him. And
Yes.
it's his father, right? And then that whole thing happens. So then you think to yourself, well, it's probably not. And also, Siror on Obitium says that he's the only one left because
Yes.
he felt himself die twice.
Yes.
So clearly that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge twist,
crazy.
man. Yeah.
Huge
And
twist.
also, yeah, giving up the information basically that they need someone to be synchronous for a
Yeah.
reason you kind of find out at the very, very, very end of the book. But
Very end.
they need someone to be synchronous, and maybe it's a classic case of like the people that are set up to be the evil ones. It's like he doubles it. It's like, okay, is the hierarchy evil? Maybe they're not the main evil.
Yes.
And so then they bring in this Ka, and then it's like happens again. Like, wait a minute, maybe this is
Maybe he's not the evil. And it was also the classic like trolley problem where it's like Ka was saving millions and millions and millions of lives by letting the cataclysms happen, because what else would happen is far worse.
Yes.
And that's the first time we're like, what's the other thing?
Wait, yeah. Yes. Very good, very good. So I thought the scene where they get to Fornax and all those obsidian soldiers, but like
Crazy.
I picture it in my brain like as a movie or TV show. Then when Vis like takes a step out, like first of all, he says when he's standing there, they're all like now turned facing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Doorway, and then he takes a step and they just start running, take a step back, and they just like freeze. Oh my gosh.
So crazy. And like their faces were just discs with the hierarchy symbol on it. It's like creepy, dude.
Which then is like, gosh, like what is Fornax and those soldiers, and like the fact that only the Naz can maybe access it, like a way that they are somehow the Aurora Columnae is what the concurrence needs, and so on Lucium they found a way to like protect it or prevent using it or something like that with all those like obsidian soldiers. And then what's the connection with the hierarchy symbol?
Yes. And also when the city came up, like over and over, Viz was saying, he's like, this looks like Catan, but it's not. It's like, it makes you think that that's from a previous cycle before the Cataclysm, where maybe that version of Lucium was more like Catan. Catan, I think it's Catan. Yeah. And dude, the scenes with his dad were amazing. And then having to say goodbye to him again. Oh.
Yeah.
And
when he comes out with the freaking metal arm.
Oh, it's sick.
Yeah.
And what I loved is he even like Viz is thinking when he's like getting stabbed and he's like dying and he thinks he's gonna die, he knows he's about to get drowned. He even says like, he's like, some part of me is begging for my dad to be in there, even though I know he's not, because he can't feel the pulse anymore. Because that was something else they did to him. They like took away his. But so then like you say that, which made me as the reader be like, oh man, because I was holding on to that hope too. I'm like, I guess his dad's not there. He probably got killed by Gakhar's like scouts, and then he is there, and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. That was really good. I wonder what because I'm still just like so fixated on, like, even more than Ruark being Siror, like why Fornax? Like, what?
Yes.
Is it? Like, why is it there? What does it have to do? And then why, like, did the woman in his head scream synchronous and then unworthy every time he would pick up a weapon?
And it did say for the safety of Lucium on the building before he walked in. So it does make you think it's like it was set up specifically to protect them.
Yeah.
And she was screaming, like, who is it that's saying that, first off? But screaming it, and every single as long as he would hold on to the weapon, it would just repeat unworthy.
Over,
like oh. Yeah, okay. Let's jump over to Obitium, because I can get through a lot of it from notes. So
Okay.
Obitium, when we just finished off, he had like ran away from
Uh,
the the children thing, and he knows that he needs to get out of Duat. I think the last line is he's like, "I know how to kill Ka, but I need to leave to do it." So he
yeah.
plans to escape from Duat and realizes his only option is to go through the poison river canals. So he trains himself with the Viteria and basically like puts himself into this acid until he can't take it anymore and it comes out and then does it over and over until he knows he won't like pass out from the pain. Um, Netocrat shows up and tells him that Kaya is her daughter, so you definitely called that,
Hmm.
and that Kaya has been dead for 20 years. And she actually wants to help Viz now. Viz says that to help him, she can wait here at these like canals and like the sewage areas for when he gets back. Then he just like dives into these poison sewage canals and starts going through. He like pops out at one point and is in this chamber where there's hundreds of bodies with these pipes enlodged in their guts, and it's creepy and disgusting. There is
It's
an
weird. Yeah.
overseer there that he adopts and like asks questions, and we find out that the city of Duat and basically the whole world has been filtrating their water through these dead bodies, these Ayunktai, and sending them
Hmm.
into Duat for people to drink. So they're basically drinking human body fluids, which is gross. And
Yeah.
he finds out that that room was sealed 633 years ago, which is the exact same time that the Nomarch said that there was a big enough threat to pull out all the Ayunktai protecting Ka.
Hmm. Hmm.
So he leaves through the sewers, keeps on going, makes it out of the city. So he goes back to Kabar, finds out that they were using the same like system for irrigation
Hmm.
and water, finds out in the chamber, but looks like the gleaners had like torn up everything. So a lot of it's desolate. There's no one there, including Sior. So then he goes to the pulsing golden door that he was too afraid to go through before, and he goes through. It's a chamber with a sarcophagus, and there's a golden crook and flail, which are like those
Hmm.
things from like ancient Egypt. When he touches it, he like suddenly mind gets transported to a war, riding a horse. Or no, actually, he's not riding a horse. He gets transported to a war, but Aquia is beside him with like her head in someone's hand, and then it comes
Hmm.
right back, and I'm like, what the heck just happened? I read that like 5 times, and you don't know at that point,
No.
and you find out later in red. But
Yeah.
so he like connects with his other self for a second, and then it comes back, and it doesn't happen again. He can't replicate it. So then he does some trial and error with his items until he figures out that his blood can activate it. And when he does that, it like creates an explosion. And then he does some more trial and error and finds out that these are basically like literally unstoppable weapons. They can just like obliterate anything. So then he works his way through the sewers again, back to Duat. And this time he like passes out while he was doing it. But when he wakes up, Netocrat is there with Kaya to like she's like waking him up basically. And she's like, "You've been out
Hmm.
for I don't think it was like 5 to 10 minutes." And
Yep.
he's like, "Okay, my plan is to use these to create a big enough problem that all of the gleaners have to come out, and then I'll just go right up to Ka with these and go kill him." And she's like, "I don't know if I trust you." And he's like, "These things are insanely powerful." I think he maybe shows her or something, but eventually she decides to help. But um, what he does, I can't remember if this happens first. I think he goes, does he do the bridge first, or does she tell Kaya to do the thing first, where she has to like reconnect?
He does the bridge first
Okay, so he
because
goes
she
to like,
also like pulls him from that rubble.
that's what it was. Yeah, okay,
Hmm.
yeah. So he goes to this bridge. It's like one of the only ways to cross the sides of the city, and uses the flail and explodes it, like instantly killing hundreds. But then like bodies are falling into this river, and that creates a big enough distraction to pull like all of these gleaners out to it because they want to protect the city over protecting Ka. So she pulls him away from that, and then that's when he like tells her about these things and like who he is and why he's here to kill Ka. And she was like, I honestly thought you were here to help me with Kaya, not the other way around. And she's like, I see that now. So she basically says Kaya was one of those no mark, and I was told that she could be reversed and go back to normal, but I'm seeing it's not possible. If she reconnects with them, she can stall them, but then she will die officially. And he's like, that would be awesome if you would help me, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
make you do it.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
she does it. She like talks to Kaya and says like, do this, this, and this. Basically like distract them, make them whatever, so that he can get by. And her like eyes roll back and she falls and like basically dies. But then that gives him an opening, so like keeps everything away from him, and he starts to run up towards Ka, like up this huge like staircase thing where he can
Hmm.
oversee the city. And as he gets to the very top, the Gleaners, whatever she was doing, is wearing off, so they see him and they like start running after him. So he has like a little window of time, and he can't remember exactly how he gets in the room because the crook and flank don't work. I think he like puts his blood onto the wall, like onto the panel,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
that activates it. And he
Yeah.
goes into this room that's like this ancient library looking thing. It doesn't look like what you would think of like a giant evil overlord. And
Hmm.
there is this triangular slab table with a man just like sleeping on it, and there's 3 lines of power going out from him, and we find out what that means in res, like what he's doing.
Hmm.
But basically, he's like seeding out his will, or people are seeding will to him, and he's controlling the Gleaners. But he's laying there, and it's Ka, and that's confirmed. And like he just doesn't wake up. Like he's basically like the Grinch was like, "Ugh, ugh," but he like isn't
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
So yeah. So he's like, all right. And then he basically has like 5 seconds as all these Gleaners show up. And he takes a knife, and the book ends with him. The book for Obitium ends with him stabbing him in the chest.
Hmm.
And that's when, like, it goes from there to then Lucium. And that's when Ruark gives himself up.
Yep.
Which, wait a minute. How did he know? How did Ruark know? Interesting. How did
Is
Seor know?
yeah.
Well, that's confusing.
Yep. So that is how it ends. And the
Yeah.
Gleaners, it's worth noting, stop too.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
So
They all
it
stop.
kind of
Yeah.
confirms that he definitely was controlling them, but they stopped.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, what we'll find out with Rez is really just where a lot of the things, some things make sense, but other things, obviously, it's like more like what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't make sense that Seor is the concurrence, right? Because we already
Right.
know that Seor was someone else in Obitium
Yeah.
and was
So maybe the Lucium version of Seor was working with Ka on Lucium, and like Ka told him everything, so he's like, yeah, you're right. I gotta work with you. So maybe like he was with Ka, and Ka's like, another version of me just died. So he's like, crap.
and then that told him, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. So that crook and flail thing,
Yes.
and then why was that behind the Mutalis door? And,
Yeah,
who
and
was in the coffin?
yeah, who's in the coffin? We never find that out. I don't know if that's gonna matter. Then I'll be honest, I had to look up what a crook and flail was. I was picturing like a pail and like a bucket that you have for like sandcastles for some reason. Just like had the words mixed up, and I'm like, surely that can't be what he's holding.
You thought like crooked pale.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, those things.
Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
and man, definitely like Lukeem's where the most stuff happened in this part of the book.
yeah.
But yeah, it is pretty crazy all that,
Um,
and like that Ka, because earlier the children said, or actually Kaya said, Ka sleeps,
yeah.
and then we found out that he's like literally who knows how old he is, and he's just like constantly being seeded to and seeding out or
Yeah.
imbuing out.
Yeah. Um, and I have a theory about why the Gleaners, because it was a big deal when Kaya said that, or like during that period of time where Vis basically found out that the Gleaners have a higher level of security to protect the city
Yeah,
over protecting Ka,
yeah, it is interesting.
which is interesting. Um, I
I
thought the
wonder if
like
that,
acid water stuff was weird, like
yeah, it
with
is
the
crazy.
filtering through the Yungta bodies and how that makes it
Yeah,
like drinkable.
yes. That's one of those things I'm like, ugh, but I'll just accept it. I wonder if it's more that like their priority was to protect the city was more of a pointing to Cod not being as like overlord evil as we think, where he's like he just wants the city to function
Yeah,
in the best way he can make it possible while
yeah,
still being giving up himself. Yeah, crazy.
yeah. I think it has to do, and this is giving away a little bit, but we'll talk about it here in a minute with Rez. But I think it's because the way the concurrence works is if there's a large attack on the city, like losing a bunch of people all at once
Oh, yeah.
would be worse than Ka dying.
I bet you're right. Yeah, yeah. And what was it? It's like every 9 out of 10 people die when there's a cataclysm. I think
Mhm.
that's what Seor says. He's like, every 9 out of 10 people will die. But if you don't do that, literally everyone dies with
Yeah,
whatever else would do it.
yeah,
It's like,
it's one of those. Yeah. All right. Um,
res.
jump to Rez.
I
So
didn't take any notes.
I think I can remember all of it. So it ends with Ostius using Vis to plunge Rez into civil war.
Yeah,
Vis via Diago,
yeah,
the Lupi, murders all the princeps and Decimi and Tershi. Yes.
yeah,
So then all of them are murdered, and Vis goes on the run as like this masked
the mass
evil
vigilante.
person. Yes. Carnifex, right?
Yes,
So Vis is able to make sure his friends are safe because he goes back to the forum and is like, we need to leave.
yeah,
So everyone is able to leave, is safe, and then he gets back to House Telemus, and these Cordy Sexty from military show up, like, oh, we're looking for this person, and he and essentially the butler. What is his
Cadmos.
name? Cadmus. Yes. So Cadmus is a sick character, but he
Yeah,
like helps Vis stage it as if Vis has been there the whole time. He just got done bathing, all this, and they totally buy it.
yeah,
And basically Vis is like, it's me.
yeah. And actually, I
And
think it's like weeks later at this point where he's been going out and like killing some of this resistance or riots have been going on.
oh, that's right. Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
why it's like even more so they're looking. He's supposed to build a name for himself according to Ostius.
yes. So let's see what happens from there. He wants to go rescue.
Oh, I
I may
remember.
be skipping some things.
It's actually coming back to me. So right after the people leave, after they like don't find anything, they leave. Cadmos is like, "Hey, you have a visitor," and he's like, "Right now?"
Oh, in
He's like, "Yeah,
O'Keyscore's office. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes," and it's Eden's father.
Iden's
Yeah,
father. Yes.
Iden's father.
Yeah.
He basically
So
tells
and
him,
then
"Yeah, you can do it." Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so Iden's father tells him, "Hey, I'll give you information if you help Iden," because Iden went to military, and so
yeah,
um, he basically tells him, "Here's military's plan to like take over the city because right
hmm
now governance and religion have essentially control of everything. They just don't have the numbers in terms of like soldiers."
and it's
So
that and all these since military's princeps was murdered. There's like all these different dudes who are claiming that they should be the next princeps. So that's like civil war as well.
yeah, within military.
Yeah,
So the one that has the most number of troops is who Iden and Iden's father work for. And so
yeah,
he's basically like, they're gonna go and send Iden and all of like our countrymen to the harbor first as like a feint, and then they're going to attack over here. So he gives them all this valuable information and is basically like, please try to seek Iden out and talk to him and get him
yeah.
to join you. So this is like cool. This also wants to save Lannistia and Olkeyscore. So his plan is to do that first, I think.
Well, I think he finds out during this time too that Lannistia. He finds out that Lannistia is in the prisons, in the sappers, and that
Right.
military has all these people in sappers that they're going to like basically kill to
Go
cede all
kill.
of their
Yeah.
power back all at
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
he goes and tells Calidus's father
Hmm.
and the council all of this, except the part about Lannistia. And he tells him he has a source. And so far, his source has been Hostius. But for this one,
Hmm.
it's Eden's dad. And so they all like change their plans all of a sudden. And then Aquia is like, "Hey, you're not going alone. Like, I'm going with you." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Fine." So they
Yep. So
set
they
out to
go.
get Lannistia first.
Yeah. They set out to get Lannistia first. And then one of the craziest
Ugh,
deaths in these books
ugh.
happen. They run into um
Iroh's father.
Iroh's father. I always want to say Indel, but it's Iroh's
No,
father
yeah.
who's pissed because Iroh ends up dying from his injuries during the chariot race.
So now both of his kids have died
Yes,
near
and his
or at the hands
daughter.
of Viz.
Yes, and so his daughter back in Will of the Many um, dies during the Namakia,
Yeah,
who he blames Vis, even though Vis saved
yeah,
everyone else there. But he's just like a heartbroken
yeah,
father, just set purely on revenge. So he catches um, Vis and Aquia as they're like about to go sneak in, like they have made their plan, and he's getting ready to go sneak into the prison to try to get Lannistia. And basically, Ira's father catches them, and he's now more powerful too.
yeah.
And he basically tells Vis, like, I'm gonna make you hurt, like you made me hurt.
Yeah.
To no end other than just pure revenge. So he
Yes. Oh,
crushes Aquia's head, freaking invincible Viltrumite style,
yeah.
just crushes her
I
head.
couldn't believe
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Crazy.
And then he
Crazy, crazy.
snaps Viz's legs, both of them.
Yes, and then he snaps both of his legs. This though is just nothing if not determined. So
He is
he is the Lizana Gaib. So he makes these like Forrest Gump
Yes.
like
That's
leg
exactly how I pictured him.
yeah these like braces that he uses Will and like the little metal imbued triangle things. Like he uses a combination of these things to make these braces so that he can literally like walk and run
Yeah.
with
And he also is
two
having
broken legs.
Cadmos is like really good at medicine and basically gave him the equivalent of morphine in tea.
Yes.
So he's
Yeah.
just like on morphine with these braces.
Yeah. Yeah. And Will surging through him. So he goes to he presses on, he leaves Aquia there, he presses on, and now he's also like a level of just like pissed off. So he goes in and he goes into the prison and he basically gets the guards to let him go down. And
he like looks at the list looking for Lannistia, and he accidentally finds Ulquiskor
on there.
He's
So
like, oh my god, they're both.
Get them both. Yes. So he goes, and on his way down to Lannistia, one of the sappers. So a bunch of the sappers have just like blood stains everywhere, but like people in them. And so one of the things that happened was so if someone is seeding and they die, you lose what they are seeding to you. So your will dies with you when you die. And so what had happened at the beginning of the Civil War is they just started murdering all the Octavi and Septimi that they could to weaken the other
that were in the sappers
opponents and houses. Yes. And part of it was a lot of them that were in sappers. So in one of the sappers, he finds Relukia.
Yes.
And
crazy.
He questions her. And like, I'm telling you, this
like the first time
super
he has power over her
at that point. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he basically is like, I'm not gonna let you out of here until you tell me why like all this stuff happened.
All the things.
So she tells him virtually everything he wants to hear, and then like a stone cold killer just leaves her in the sapper after all that. So I'm trying to remember exactly what she tells confessed. Him. Yeah.
I think he asks her about Ostius a lot. Well, he asks like, why did you kill all my friends? Essentially.
Oh, and he kind of blames her like, you're responsible for this. Yeah.
And then he asks about Ostius. I'm also trying to remember exactly what. I think she basically tells him like, he is like, we're not in charge of him. He's running the show with us. And then basically just like pushes her back onto it. She's like,
back into the sapper. So he gets Lannistia, and he cedes some of his will to her so that she can help him get Ulquiskor, and she starts to feel the voices again. So at this point, she's been completely like, she has no one ceding to her. Like, she's an Octavi. Like, she has no one ceding to her. Her will.
She's like fully blind.
It's just her own. Yeah. And so that was an interesting thing. And then they find Ulquiskor, and they get out, and he sees some will. I thought this was like a funny scene because he was like, I made them promise to like turn around so they don't see us. The two prison guards as they're leaving, and he cedes some of his will to Lannistia, and she just kills them both.
And he's like, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
She's like, they would have hunted us down, and he's like,
they would have sold us out. So they all three escape, and another noteworthy part that I remember is Ulquiskor is just like, we owe you, son. And it's like the first time just realizes that he just just kind of used that. So he helps them escape, and then somehow he still is just like, all right, time to go find Iden now. So he's literally walking still on these like Forrest Gump stilts. Not sure how he's still going Cadmos's tea. surging through him.
Yes.
And he finds Aiden and is like, "Hey, I talked to your father." Aiden immediately pissed, and then Vis basically does convince Aiden to just he uses kind of just like the bigger picture, and because of the relationship that he made with Aiden was basically like, hey, like this is bigger than the hierarchy, this is bigger than all these like grudges we have against people. Aquia is dead, like I came here. And then Aiden sort of realizes that, and part of it too was that, so Aiden's pickle is that if he doesn't fight, they would kill his people. But then if he does fight, like they'll still all die likely because they're in like the first wave of this attack. So
and we also find out in that moment that his dad gave him bad information about the war.
So then that's what ultimately starts to happen, is then they start dropping these like will bombs, just destroying everyone. And then Aiden tells him like, oh no, this is the battle right now.
Yeah.
So he and Aiden basically are trying to escape. They have to fight. And then I'm pretty sure Diago comes out. And Diago gets stabbed in the throat.
Yeah.
And Vis sends him back to House Telemus, but he's like, sounds like he's gonna live. I don't know. Somehow after getting speared in the throat. And then Vis basically in a last attempt, like they stop and rest, and every time they stop and rest, Vis puts his will imbued little triangle things up in the air with his signal to try to get Ka, like whoever the Ka is of Rez, to come out. And so eventually he does, and they come out and they talk. And that's
and Ayuntai comes out.
Is it I thought it was Ka, and then Ka says, you're gonna follow my Ayuntai.
I think the whole time it's an Ayuntai. I don't think he ever actually sees Ka's face. Because I thought that too, and then I went and reread it. And I'm pretty sure the whole time he's speaking to an Ayuntai.
Okay. So he speaks to him, and he's basically like, you're gonna have to follow me somewhere. They go down. They go like down somewhere, but I don't remember exactly.
They go underground.
But it was isn't it under one of like the buildings? Is it under one of the buildings? But they had known, that's what it was. It's like they knew there was like this area, but they didn't know. They kept a secret, like what was in there. So basically they go down into this like cavern, and in this cavern are just dead bodies, like piled up.
Like hundreds and hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands. And there's the Yunkti that's showing them where to go. Like they start asking questions, and he's like, this is just one of like several of these that we know about. And what happens is the Yunkti tells Vis like, you have to control all of these Yunkti. Like, they will, I forget exactly how the mechanism worked, but basically it was a feedback loop where Vis imbues, but then the Yunkti are able to like see, it's like using harmonics or something like that, where like they're able then to seed and imbue like the other ones.
He takes them to this room where there's a triangular slab, and it's the exact same thing that we see on Opatium. And he tells them, you can imbue up to 3 Ayuntai. But when you imbue an Ayuntai, it only takes 50% of their will. So then you can give them the command to imbue 3 more Ayuntai. And then it just keeps branching until you're effectively controlling millions.
Yeah.
It never ends.
Yeah. But that's what it is. So on the slab, there's already 3 Yunkti that are like
Yes.
there
Yeah.
with like something is like instruction blades, I think, coming out of them or something.
Yes. But notably, Ka's not there.
Notably, no one is there doing it, right?
Yeah. And he says the Iunti tells him like another version of you like screw this all up, which is why he's telling him you have to do it now. So this is like post Obitium murder of Ka.
Yes.
We also find out that all of those bodies are, every single one of them, military, has reawakened and questioned, just to glean any information that they possibly could over the last 500 years.
About the cataclysm, and they're trying to find out as much information because governance and religion are the ones that know the most about it and kind of have left military out of those things. So Aiden is like, this is messed up because Aiden doesn't know anything about the Yunkti, really. Like, he knows they are a thing, but like what they're asking Vis to do, he's just like, no way. So this is where now this Yunkti kind of explains that the concurrence, we finally find out, is literally just like a hive mind.
Yes.
It's not a person. It's not a person. It's a thing. It is a hive mind that is the Yunkti. So we still don't know exactly like where they are or which ones they're controlling. But we know that now that is what they're fighting. They're fighting this hive mind that would basically take over dead people. Those dead people would kill people, make them dead, and then take them over until it's everyone.
Till it's done.
So he's like, the only way to combat it is for us to control as many dead people as we can, because otherwise the concurrence will control them. So Aiden's like, don't do that. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then Vis is just like,
I'm going to do
his hand out slowly to one of the and just like, imbues him. So Vis does it. And all these Yungtai, these multiple, I think they said it's like 800,000 or something like that. All start to do that and wake up. So that's what it is, right? So he imbues one of them, but they're able to only use 50%. They only need to use 50% of their will to imbue 3 more.
Yes.
And then the other 50% they can seed back.
Yes. Up to him.
Yes. So it creates a pyramid to Vis.
Yeah.
And all these people are waking up, and he sees his freaking mother and his sister.
Yes.
Are there.
Yeah.
So he goes to them and like hugs them. And what's crazy about it is that as Yunkti, the people like have,
it's like Amos.
Memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was crazy too.
Yeah, they have their memories. They're not just like Yunkti aren't brain dead like zombies.
Yeah. They're not like the Gleaners.
Right. But you can control them. Well, and the Gleaners, the reason they don't talk is because they have their tongues cut out. So the Gleaners just like, they do know, they just will like say yes or no.
Yeah, that's true.
So they also them, and then there's one last one. Calidus says he looks over his mother's shoulder or something like that. And
you already said his name on accident.
All you get is a Hail Vis, and then that's the end of the book. It just says Hail Vis. You don't see who it is. 99.99% sure it's Calidus.
I don't even know if you even realize you just accidentally said his name before that, because it's Eden that looks over his shoulder, and you were like, Calidus looks over his shoulder. It's like, no.
Oh, this looks
They-
This looks over his mother's shoulder and sees and who we assume is
100%.
Cal.
Yeah. Which is
Hail this.
wild. Oh,
Yes.
and that's how the
So-
entire book ends.
That's how the entire book ends. Those are the last words. Hail this. Woo.
It's insane. This is one of those situations where it's like, I feel like I got a lot of questions answered, but now I have 75 new questions.
Yes, for all the things that we got answered. So, concurrence is
The hive mind.
hive mind, which does make sense that now. So that ties back into what I was saying earlier about Ka in Obitium, is that he clearly was controlling all of it. Like, it makes more sense to me now that, so the Gleaners are just super powerful so that they can kill concurrence. And then in the city where the dead live, they have the overseers checking everyone's faces, and they keep a log of everyone.
Oh,
that
yeah.
they know who is being controlled, who they have on their books and who's not. Because if all of a sudden a dead person shows up and they don't know who they are, then
that makes so much sense. I didn't even put that together.
It's a whole alert system. And then that's why Ka's like, if I die, that's okay. We need to make sure that if there's a huge disturbance in the city, it might be the concurrence. And if they end up killing everyone, then their numbers will outgrow ours, or if they end up like taking control. So that makes sense. The only one that's still like what's happening in Lucium.
I know, yes.
That,
we still don't know.
Yeah, but it's interesting now with this kind of enemy, what
what's it going to look like moving forward?
What's it going to look like? Like, have we encountered the concurrence yet? Like, there's still angles like Ostius. Like, what is his angle really? What are their goals? Like, what is will? Like, what do the Aurora Columnae have to do really with anything in actual will? Like, maybe that was the way that they were able to, because the only way you can control the Yunkti is if you have will. Like, if you are part of the hierarchy so that you can imbue. So maybe that was the only way that they found that they could combat the concurrence.
And we know that the cataclysms are meant to like thwart the concurrence, but we still don't know like the mechanisms of how do they Aurora Columnae or Aurora Columnae, how do they like kill all these people? Like, what happens? What's the mechanism there?
Yeah,
like, is it
I
just
wonder
all
if
of a sudden people die? Is it like a setup trigger?
Yeah. What if like, and it makes sense to me on a macro that the Aurora or the cataclysm has to happen to kill most everyone.
Yeah.
So the concurrence
doesn't,
because like if you kill a bunch of people, then its numbers will be low too. But then to me, it's like, well, how are those people like? How are they dying in a way? Where the concurrence can't control them again. So it would be like, I guess if you behead them, or the freaking acid water in Duat. So that makes sense now too. That can kill any Yunkti by just like dissolving them.
Does make you wonder what like that mechanism. That's still going on. There, like you said, Ostius is.
And then like is the concurrence a will based power, like how it creates Yunkti? And then is the Mutalis, like that makes me think more that the Anguis are concurrence because they can use the Mutalis to kill people in the hierarchy. but it doesn't kill people that are synchronous because Vis can just.
Yeah, that's true. Also, is my mic okay?
Yeah, you're good.
My earphones died, which is funny.
Oh no,
But
man,
yeah,
this is the low tech episode. This is the.
that is crazy.
Um,
I didn't even think about that possibility, but that definitely makes sense. Like it could be.
Yeah, because if they can use the Mutalis to kill people in the hierarchy that are seeding will, then they can drive their numbers down, right?
Yeah. And like, ooh. So then, what is like the pale and not the pale, the flail and crook? Like, what even are those? I know they're Mutalis, but like, what is it? Like, what?
Yeah, like why was that what was behind the door? Like
Yeah.
why does it need your blood? Like whose blood? Only people that are synchronous? Like maybe it was an old Ka style person. Maybe it was the old
Yeah. Dude, another
chamber.
thing,
I don't know.
does finding out who Sior is on Lucium make you more suspicious of the Obitium Sior, or do you think that they're just like two versions of each other that don't realize that they're working against each other?
I bet it's more that they don't realize that they're working against each other. And maybe, oh, that just gave me a thought. What if... So it's pretty much confirmed that Sior is dead on Res.
Yeah.
Like, he says he felt himself die twice. And the only one... I mean, obviously he wasn't dead on Lucium because we know he's now alive. But... on Res, like they said, I feel like Viridius said they found him, like his body.
Yeah, they like.
So then is he in the?
Oh wait,
would he be one of the ones? What if he says Hail Vis? Well, no, that wouldn't make sense. No, it's definitely Calidus. I was gonna say, what if that's Sior? But wouldn't Sior be in the?
Yeah, that's
like,
a good
part
thought.
of that?
Maybe he was like revived and asked questions and then killed again, and that's what he felt.
It could be because really the thought I was having was, what if Sior on Lucium somehow had his will seeding like nullified?
Yeah,
like what if Sior dying in Res made him no longer synchronous, and so the Sior on Lucium may be lost because he never like communed with the Aurora Columnae there. So what if it affects that? What if he's no longer doing that? So then Sior in Obitium felt really a disconnect because the one in Lucium was no longer seeding will. Maybe something like that.
could be. And now I'm thinking, did they ever find his body? I don't know if they did.
I thought Viridius said that. And that's what I can't remember 100%. I thought Viridius said that they did find him.
Maybe they did.
Because then it wouldn't really make sense, like, if he wasn't if he's not one of the dead that Vis has now awakened, then it wouldn't make sense that he wouldn't be
right
alive still. But
and then there's Ostius, who was maybe not synchronous, but wait, did we find out that maybe he like didn't go to Obitium or something? Because he can teleport from world to world, which that's another thing. Like, is Viz gonna figure out how to teleport world to world? I feel like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think he gave us a glimpse with that. So he touches, right? That's when he touches the crooked flail the first time.
Yeah, you're right. Oh yeah,
and
we didn't even
transport him. Yeah,
like transported to when Acquia was about to die.
Yeah,
which is just crazy.
Which is crazy.
And then chapters before it too.
And Res Vis doesn't like react to that.
Yes. I was waiting for that. I thought maybe he was gonna be like, whoa, but it didn't happen.
Mhm. And then and then he doesn't do that again. Like I don't understand.
I'm sure that has to be a clue for something that we don't understand yet.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it could have just been like he is synchronous, and this proves it because he reconnected with one of his minds for a second. But
Yeah.
maybe there's going to be something later to that, and in this next book or two.
Yeah. Oh, I need that. I need that right
So good. I loved it so much, though.
now. I need it right.
I liked this book probably more than the first one. It was just another building upon of the first.
Yeah, I think so. This book was like, Rez was a little boring at the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still sweet. Like the chariot race was sweet. And that, but this book was like nonstop. It felt like each chapter was like, oh man, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Yeah, I feel like that's the perk of having the 3 worlds. Is like he can't waste time as the author, so you have to go the whole time.
Yeah, unless you want to write like a 2,000-page book. Yeah,
like Brandon Sanderson. Yeah. Well, here's the question. Now what?
Now what is a great question. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have his other series that I was thinking about starting, which I actually have.
Nice.
Right here.
Yeah.
All a thick boy.
That is a thick boy.
Shadow of What Was Lost. See there it says, love the Wheel of Time. You'll love this. I don't know if I'm ready to commit to that quite yet.
That's a big book.
After reading a 700-page book again.
Oh, man.
I did just recently. So Kelly started reading Red Rising.
Dude, no way.
She's audiobooking it. So she's a decent way. So she made it to the part now where Darrow was made of gold, and then they were like, you're going to go to the Institute, and that's where he's at now. And she has met none other than Cassius Al-Bologna.
Yes.
I said, have you met Cassius Al-Bologna yet? She goes, yeah, what a prick.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to say was, but his honor remains. One of the biggest spoilers in the whole series.
Yeah.
Couldn't say it.
We'll edit that out.
Yeah. Yeah, so she doesn't watch, so it's okay.
There we go.
She doesn't listen. She doesn't watch. So I might make my way. I have it on audiobook myself.
Dude, have you listened to Dungeon Crawler Carl yet?
I know. I know I need to.
It's so freaking good. One of my friends that I made in Alaska, she is currently reading them physically, but she's one of those readers that will just like pick up a book and then not stop until she finishes. But she's texting me and another guy who have read it, just like live updates as things happen. I'm getting like 30 to 40 texts a day from her about it, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like I get to reread the books basically.
Yeah.
She's like, what the fuck? Like every other one.
That's
so
good. That's good.
I have that series I'm caught up on. This one I'm caught up on. Gotta just wait for both of those books to come out. Can't.
I know. I sent you the book that he has coming out this year called Scion, James Arlington.
Yeah.
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm reading Throne of Glass right now.
Yes.
Which I'm just finished book 2. It was pretty good. You know what? Actually, this hadn't happened in a long time, but when I was reading the book, something happened, a character choice of the main character that I just hated. I hated it so much. And it almost like put me off of the book. And then like the very end of the book, there was a major plot twist that like explained all of those character choices. And it was really cool, but at the same time, I'm like, I was so close to being like, screw this series. It was like a fine line of, but now I'm like, okay, so now I'm just gonna, and that happened like a few times throughout the book. So I'm like, okay, if I just know this is how this author does it, then I'm just going to have faith that things are going to work out, and I'm going to push through the parts that I don't agree with. But it was good. I mean, it was a major plot twist that I was like,
Okay.
dang, I didn't see it coming at all.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm
So
gonna start-
what do you like, that or Strength of the Few more?
oh, come on.
Come on now.
I don't want to
Yeah.
slam. I mean, Throne of Glass is great, but Strength of Fuse, top tier.
Yeah. Is it S tier? Maybe A tier.
Dude, I am like,
It'll depend on how the
how it lands.
next one goes. Yeah.
I'll tell you the truth. So far, my experience with it has been similar to how I felt during Red Rising, where I just love it. I'm like devouring it.
Yeah.
I'm just give me more.
Give me
So-
more. Yeah.
But I'm also a sucker for like epic fantasy with a lot of male energy.
Yeah. True. I am, and that's part of why when I'm trying to figure out what I want to really like read next is like it's just massive books.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, have you tried like Dungeon Crawler Carl? It's like there's 18 books. like
Okay,
that.
but I'm telling you, first off, there's only 7, and they're not that long. And second off, it is an experience that I've never had with any other series. It's hilarious, ridiculous, but also amazing writing and makes you love the characters and has very dramatic moments. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
You should give it a chance.
I'll add it.
And
I'll add it up there.
you can definitely physically read it. I know people who physically read it and loved it, but I'm telling you that the voice actor is S tier. Absolutely. It's worth
Yeah,
listening.
really good.
It's one book.
Yeah, I think the Red Rising voice actors are really good.
Yeah.
Especially like the main guy that does it, and like I think he's Scottish.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing it in your car once. But I want to say one more thing about Dungeon Crawler Carl, just to try to
Alright.
sell it even more.
Okay.
When I was about halfway through book 1, and I didn't know much about the voice actor, I looked up on my phone how many voice actors are in the audiobooks because their character voices are so distinct, and it's just one guy.
It's just one. Yeah.
He's that good that I literally thought there were multiple people doing it. So yeah.
Okay. All right. That might convince me. We'll see. I want to try to get back. I don't want to spend too much time away from Stormlight Archive either.
Oh,
Which I
that's true.
finished Words of Radiance. So Oathbringer's next. Although I think is there a
There's a-
novella between 2 and 3?
It's called Edge Dancer.
Edge Dancer.
It's
Okay.
very short. I read it in one day. Actually, I think I read it in like 3 days, but it's very short and a fun read.
Okay. I might have to do that then.
Way more
see.
lighthearted than those books.
All right.
Cool, man.
Thanks for coming on this journey with us. To our
Yes.
2 viewers.
Yes.
To all of our viewer. We'll try to think of something next.
Right.
I don't think we're going to do a book club this time
Yeah.
around. So, but football with the draft, we'll have a little more content for you. So,
Keep it around. All right.
all right.
Until next time.
Fantasy Football Podcast. See you.
Bye.